What is up everyone, Movieworm back again with another end of month vlog. This is just me talking about all the movies and TV shows that I watched in the month of June 2021. Now I know I say this every month, but these are my favourite videos to make because I just like talking about lots of different titles in lots of different genres. And it's just good to give your little mini reviews and your quick fire thoughts. Basically, I just spend a little bit of time on each title here. Now it's no secret on this channel that I've been trying to get through my unwatched Blu-ray collection because I want to whittle it down to 0 now. For too long I've had too many movies that I haven't watched, and I had about 100 on the list. I've got it down to about 31 now, and I made a bit of a big dent in it this month, if you like. Now some of these are streamed, some maybe at the cinema, but most of these this month are from my Blu-ray collection. So yeah, let's just get into it. No point waiting around with the first thing that I watched in June, and that was Chronicles of Narnia. I've had this in my collection for a few months now. This was gifted to me by my fiance's brother. He gave me a load of Blu-rays, most of them that are unwatched at the big pile that he gave me. And I'd never seen this movie before. I read the book in school, so yeah, I just thought, why not, you know, let's just get it. I've got to watch them all anyway. I thought this was okay. I mean, some of the kids, I mean, there's 4 kids in this movie. The 2 male kids were really annoying at times. And I know there's a sequel here to this film called Prince Caspian. And the older brother, I think, is Prince Caspian in the next one. He really didn't do it for me in this film. But it did have some good moments. I really liked the Ice Queen as the villain. It's the cinematography for me at times. I mean, it did feel like it was a movie set. Obviously, it is filmed in a movie set, but you got that feel as you were watching it. It's not exactly Lord of the Rings, put it that way. But it's still a decent film. I still enjoyed it. And I've got the second one to watch, which I didn't get round to this month, but hopefully I will soon. I really like the character of the lion as well. I forgot his name. Ascar, I forgot his name, I'm really sorry, but yeah, decent movie, nothing more, nothing less really, just a good adventure film. Next up is one of the most critically acclaimed animated films of all time. I know this is quite high on the IMDb top 250 list. I've had this for 3 or 4 years now in this collection, I'm not even joking. That is Spirited Away. This is the first time I ever watched a Studio Ghibli film. I loved the art style, I loved the character design of all these different creatures and stuff. It's a real strange movie for me. I feel like I did enjoy it. I think I give it 3.5 on Letterboxd. I'm going to have to rewatch this again because I had no idea what I was in for. But there were some great moments in this, especially the first 10 minutes there, where her parents are just eating all this food and then they turn into these like half human pigs. It was really creepy actually, and I thought, this is a bit low for a PG. And then you've got that big giant blob that just smells really bad, and she has to work in the bathtub place and they don't know what to do. This monster's just coming and wants to pay all this money to get like clean scrubbed, and she has to clean scrub this big weird monster. It's a really strange film, but I really enjoyed it. But I think I'd appreciate this a lot more on rewatch. I want to watch Princess Mononoke, I think it is, because a relative of ours, James, he recommended it to me. And the other one I want to watch is Kiki's Delivery Service. So I've heard they're really good, but I think this is a really good animated film actually, and one of the best looking ones, especially for the timer and stuff. It's just really colourful, like I said, really well designed with the characters and locations as well. So that is Spirited Away. Glad to have watched that now. I've really wanted to get round to Studio Ghibli for a while. Now I always give an older pick of the month and a new release of the month, and this next movie would have got it until I watched something else later in the month, but I couldn't stop thinking about this for days after, and that is Heat. This is the 4th time I've seen this film now, and every single time it just gets better and better. My 2 favourite actors of all time, both in the same film. Al Pacino just edges it here, given the better performance. And I feel like that's always the case when De Niro and Al Pacino come together in one movie. I know it's only happened a few times, like The Godfather 2, even though they're not in the same scene. I just think Michael Corleone stands out as the better character. The Irishman, Al Pacino again, just slightly better there, but Brilliant performances all around in this movie. De Niro is still absolutely unbelievable in this film. Seeing these two in the cafe, it's just unforgettable. I love the way they're just sort of daring each other to catch the other one. It's the ultimate cop and robber film, it really is. Al Pacino, the cop, pursuing Robert De Niro, the bank robber, and both of them are experts in their field. It's a masterpiece to me. Michael Mann is just absolutely blown it out the water with this film. It's a 10 out of 10 movie, and I have this in my top 10 films of all time, and it remains there because this just confirmed it to me. I just absolutely love it to death. Couldn't stop thinking about it for days on end. I like to say the character of Waingro is an underrated movie villain because he doesn't get much screen time, and most of the kills and stuff that he does and the sinister acts that he commits are off screen. But he is a real menace in this film, and I just think he's a very, very underrated movie villain. Brilliant, brilliant film. The shootout is the best shootout in movie history to me. Absolutely perfect film. I will review this one day on the channel, but 10 out of 10, masterpiece. But like I said, something else I watched this month just beat it for the older pick of the month. Just looking at the iPad there, guys, because I've got them all in order. So next up is a film that was recommended by John from Mondo Chelovic Movies, and that is The New Kids. Now, I love these 101 Black Label prints, and I was intrigued about this film. And I just watched Friday the 13th last month, and Sean S. Cunningham is the director, and that might have played a part in me picking this up because he directs this film as well. Plus, I was watching a lot of 80s horror film documentaries, and I just wanted a bit of 80s feel of a movie to watch, and this ticked all the right boxes. This is about this sister and brother whose parents die in a car crash right at the start of the film. It's not a spoiler or anything, and they have to go and move with their uncle in, I forget where it is. I think it might be Florida, I think. And this gang have a bet that they're going to sleep with the sister. When she sort of fends them away, they start coming after them. They're getting a little bit vicious. And it's all about these two and a couple of friends taking on these bullies, really. But there's some really great kills in this film. It's just a really fun time. I loved it from start to finish. I'm so happy to own this in my collection. I'm so happy I listened to John on his recommendation there. And I highly recommend that you pick this up. I got it in the sale in HMV. I think it was going for $9.99 or something. But I would get this edition while you can, because they are limited editions. But this is I highly recommend this film. It was such a good time. Just loved it from start to finish. Do beware though, there's a few horrible animal death scenes in there. So just beware of that going in. But yeah, 90 minutes of fun entertainment, really. I really enjoyed that one. It was just a great time. Next up, we have not so good of a film, one of the worst ones I watched this month. Even though I could watch it, it was okay. It was the picture of this movie wasn't really doing it for me, the way the visuals were. And that is Journey to the Center of the Earth. I think this is because it's meant to be 3D. It just wasn't standing out for me on Blu-ray, and it was quite distracting. Brendan Fraser, though, puts in a good performance. I do like Brendan Fraser. I don't see him too much these days, but a lot of the films I watch with him in, I do enjoy. And this young man here, he was after Hunger Games. I forgot his name. I did actually watch 2 films with him in this month, which I'll get to in a minute. But it's an okay film. I think I give it 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's nothing amazing, nothing special. But like I said, it's just in my collection. I wanted to get through it. But it's watchable. But there's some terrible special effects in this film. The dinosaur looked awful. Not on Jurassic Park levels, put it that way, which is weird because that movie came out, like 15, 20 years before this. But like I said, it was intended for 3D, I think, and it just took me out the film a little bit there. Next up is quite a good watch, actually. I really enjoyed this one, and this stars Matt Damon and Emily Blunt, who I absolutely love as an actress. She's one of my favourite actresses working today. And that is The Adjustment Bureau. I didn't find any interest in this film at all. I just thought this looks like it's going to bore me to death and everything, but it's not. It's a really, really good movie, actually. This is all about the world working. These people sort of control it, if you like. And they're trying to keep these two apart because that's part of the plan. I don't want to go into it too much because it's better just going into it and not expecting too much, and then not expecting too much, but you know, not knowing much. It's kind of better going in blind, I feel. But I really enjoyed these two on screen together. They had such great chemistry, and they needed it for the film to work, because it's sort of a romantic sci-fi film, if you like. But Emily Blunt, just a brilliant actress, isn't she? And I do really like Matt Damon. He's usually the same character in every film he plays, but it works. But these two, brilliant on screen together. Really enjoyed the chemistry. Really good story. Something interesting, something like you haven't seen before. And I do recommend this. I think I gave it 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. But such a good time with this film. Really, really glad I've seen that one now and have it in the collection. And next up, we have a movie that I wasn't looking forward to because I weren't really a big fan of the first one. I know a lot of people love it, but I just thought it was very, very average. However, this one was much better, and that is The Expendables 2. Such a good time with this film. It knows exactly what it is. It's very self-aware, but you've got all these kick-ass action stars from the 80s and early 90s in one film. These are my heroes growing up. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. You got Jean-Claude Van Damme in there, who plays the villain. He is such a good villain in this. There's a moment where he has his friend hold a knife up to someone by the chest, and then his friend drops it. He does this big roundhouse kick and kicks the knife into this guy's heart. It's like one of the best movie kills I've ever seen. But he was such a good villain. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he gets into that little box car and just rips the door off. Typical Arnold Schwarzenegger moment there. But yeah, you got Dolph Lundgren and everything in there. I'm really looking forward to checking out The Expendables 3 now, actually. I just had such a good time with this. I thought it was really good, really decent action movie. So yeah, I weren't expecting it, but I enjoyed The Expendables 2. That's been in my collection for a long time. Next up is a film that I have seen a lot of times, actually, probably over 10 times, but my fiance had never seen this. And we went out for a few drinks, just like in the beer gardens and stuff when it was sunny. And she said, I explained this film to her and she said, let's just watch it when we get home. And that is Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence. Such a funny movie. One of the best comedies out there. I absolutely love it when he dresses up as the pizza guy. Officer, I got you your pizza. But this basically, Martin, if you haven't seen it, Martin Lawrence, he is, you know, he robs diamonds basically, and he's got this diamond that's worth like 35 million. And he's about to get caught by the police, so he hides the diamonds in one of the vents. And when he comes out, that building has been made into a police station, so he has to he has to become a cop to find his diamond. But he knows the criminal world at the back of his mind, so he ends up being a really, really good detective and stuff. And they all think he's the best detective that's ever walked into the station, and he has to go along with it basically. And every time he tries to get the diamonds, someone interrupts him. But such a funny film. Dave Chappelle is so hilarious in this one. I love him. I really recommend this. It's just such a great comedy. It really is. Next up is a classic film, and this is probably, out of all the Blu-rays I've owned that I have not watched, been in my collection the longest out of all of them. I've had this for about 4 to 5 years in the collection, just sitting there now. No, I'd say about 4 years. The Great Escape. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love this film. Lots of people told me to watch it, based on a true story, like it says right there. Steve McQueen, I think this is the first film I've ever seen with Steve McQueen in it. But there's a great cast in this. Richard Attenborough, you know, from Jurassic Park, obviously. James Garner in there. You've got Donald Pleasance, who is probably my favourite character. He's like a guy who's going blind and he has to be looked after. I think it's by James Garner's character, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But he just put out such a good performance. And basically it's about a group of, are they British or American, trying to break out of this German camp that they're all locked in, basically, because they've all been captured. And it's a big plan that they've got to get out, and they dig all these underground tunnels and stuff. Didn't see the third act going the way it went. I didn't expect the ending to go that way. It's a very long film, but it's a really fun one, actually. I do think that halfway through it gets better. It's quite a slow start. The soundtrack to this it's just one of the best theme tunes I've ever heard. You all know it now. If you type it in on YouTube or something, you'll know it straight away when it starts playing. But really, one of the best movie theme tunes I've ever heard. It just went with the film so well. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really solid movie. So yeah, just a feel-good film if you like at times. But yeah, Steve McQueen on the motorbike. There was some great scenes with that one on them parts if you like. Next up, we do have something that was on TV, and I watched this on the BBC iPlayer, and that is a TV miniseries called Time. This stars Sean Bean and Stephen Graham, and really did blow me away. I have reviewed this on the channel. I'll leave the link down below if you want to watch that. But this is really well acted, really good story. You've got to have that when it's a gripping drama. If you're going for a serious gripping drama, you've got to have a good story and good performances, and you get that all round. And most of you may know I'm from Liverpool, and they use real Liverpudlian born actors, Scousers they're called, and it just works so well. All the dialogue felt so real, I could relate to it. But it's basically Sean Bean goes into this prison and Stephen Graham is the prison guard, and you see both sides of their stories really, but there's lots of other little subplots going on with other characters. I just thought it was really well done. It was really well paced. I watched all 3 episodes in one night. If you want to watch that, it's on the BBC iPlayer. And if you want to check out my full review for that, it will be down below. Now, I do give a new release of the month every month, and I've never given it to a TV series before, but this is going to be my new release of the month. I just thought it was really well done. One of the best miniseries I've ever seen. I really related to Sean Bean's character. I mean, not related to him, but I got invested in his character. I felt sorry for the guy because he's really struggling with prison life. So it was just really good drama, and I highly recommend it. So I haven't heard anyone say they dislike this. So catch it on the iPlayer. It's really worth a watch. Does work really well if you watch it in one go. So that is Time, my new release of the month. So getting back to it, we do have another Blu-ray here, and this is the only Daniel Craig Bond movie I hadn't seen, and that is 007 Spectre. I really enjoyed this actually. I thought it had a really good opening in the Mexican Day of the Dead festival, but Daniel Craig's just really good as Bond, isn't he? I'm really looking forward to the next one. I wanted to watch this in time, so I'll finally watch it now. Seen all the Daniel Craig ones. I do still think Casino Royale is the best. But this was a solid entry for me. Quantum of Solace is the only one I haven't really enjoyed. Dave Bautista. Now I know Christoph Waltz is the villain in this. He done a good job, but Dave Bautista was the standout for me. He's like his little henchman, and he just he has this big fight with James Bond on a train, and it's just such a great scene. Really enjoyed it. Sorry, I've just got to keep that on there. Yeah, really good film. You know, it just got me more excited for the next one. All the cars, he's got the girl in there and everything. All the Bond girl. I forgot her name in this, but she put a really good performance in as well. Ralph Fiennes, I think he's the new M, is it? Because obviously Judi Dench is not in the franchise no more, but he was great as well. I enjoyed it. I'm not a massive Bond fan. Never have been, but I do enjoy the Daniel Craig ones. So looking forward to the next one now. Glad to have watched that and I'm up to date now. So next up is another film that is probably in my top 25 films of all time. And I went out for a few drinks for the England game, and the next day I needed to just chill. And I wanted to put a film on that I'd seen, and I just didn't have to think too much. And this is probably the wrong film to put on when you've got a bit of a hangover, because it's quite dark and depressing, but one of the best films ever made in my opinion. Joker. And I watched it on 4K, of course. Just a brilliant movie, isn't it? I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, everything's been said that has to be said about him in this performance. Won the Oscar, deservedly so. What really got me this time is the score. I knew it was good, but it just makes the whole film. It really does. Just seeing Joaquin Phoenix walking around Gotham as this dangerous individual with this haunting score in the background, what he gets up to in his day-to-day life with that score is just a match made in heaven. It really is. The train shooting is a moment where you just sit back and go, whoa. you've got the whole third act, which is probably the best part of the entire film. I love the way it links in with Batman as well, when he goes to see a very young Bruce Wayne. It's a really strange moment, but I love the way it all ties in. My only problem with this film, I've said it many times on the channel, is the final scene. It just shouldn't be there. That final scene ruins the movie, ruins it for being a 10 out of 10 for me. It's a 9.5. That's my only gripe with it, but just a near masterpiece. It really is a brilliant film. So not my older pick of the month still, though. That one is yet to come, and it will be the next film I'm about to show. Sorry, let me just pick this up here. My older pick of the month is none other than Terminator 2. This is in my top 3 films of all time, with the 2 Godfather films. Again, like Heath, I watched it and I just couldn't stop thinking about it all week. It's just unbelievable. Another 10 out of 10 masterpiece for me. James Cameron is a master of his craft. He's the king of sequels. He made Aliens and this. Both films are in my top 5 of all time. What I noticed this time, I always loved her as a character, but she is the standout performer, is Sarah Connor. She is just such a kick-ass character. My favourite female protagonist, if you like, ever. She just makes the movie, and I know Arnold is great in this as well, but for me, she is the standout. But it's just great performances all around. Robert Patrick as the T-1000, so sinister. I even like Edward Furlong, who people say he's kind of annoying. I think he's great in this film. I always struggle with Terminator 2 because there's so many great moments. Where do you even start? It's just the best action film of all time for me. I just love it to death. I just love the way the Terminator's learning the human element of things off John. And when he says "Hasta la vista, baby," one of the greatest movie moments of all time, because he learns it off John. It's just a cool ass few seconds there that is integrated into my mind. I've seen this film easily 100 times now. I must have because I watched it so many times as a kid. I watch it all the time now. It's probably my most watched Blu-ray, to be honest. I don't know what else to say. I will review it on the channel one day in full, but perfect. 10 out of 10. The greatest sequel of all time, just behind The Godfather 2. Who said sequels are never as good? I do prefer it over the first. I know there's a lot of debate going around now on social media, which one's better. I will not argue with anyone who says the first is better, because that's probably near my top 10 as well. But I just prefer the second one. It's got everything. Everything. So, everything you want in a movie is there. Next up is another film that is a new release, and that is Censor. Now, I was sort of like that, should I give my new release of the month to Censor or Time, but it had to be to Time. But I did really enjoy this film. This is another one that I've reviewed fully on the channel, which I'll leave down below again. This is all taking place around the video nasty era in 80s Great Britain, and it's about this woman whose job it is to edit films or let the board know if they need to cut anything out to pass it. And this is around the time there's a lot of controversy, so there's a lot of pressure on her. It's a character study, basically. It's basically just focusing on this one character played by Neve Algar, and she has a sister missing from the past, basically. So when she was very young, she lost a sister. No one knows what happened to her, and when this new film is submitted to the board, she gets a bit of a hint that her sister might actually be in this film, and she sets out to pursue her. But it had a lot of nostalgia for me. She's going around video rental stores, or video shops as I call them. It just had a lot of throwback to when I used to go and rent films and stuff. I used to be obsessed with finding these films out that had been banned and stuff. So this kind of related to me a little bit. I was all for it. It had my interest straight away. It's a subject that I've been very fond of. I've watched documentaries on it and stuff. So Censor was a really, really good pick. A really, really good movie for 2021, and it's kind of in my top. It's kind of quite high on my ranking now. So that is Censor. Next up is the new Disney Pixar release, Luca. Now, this was released on Disney Plus, not the cinema, which might be quite controversial for some people, but at least it wasn't Premier Access. And this is about a young kid who is kind of half sea creature, but when he goes onto land, he turns into a human, which is a really interesting concept in itself. And I don't know how Disney come up with these things sometimes, but it really did make for a good story. And it all takes place on the Italian Riviera. And what I can say is this is probably the most colourful looking Disney film I think I've ever seen. It felt like I was actually in Italy. There's pasta and gelatos all over the place. The sunshine shining on this town just made it so bright and everything. Now, I've got a full review for Luca down below if you want to check it out, but I thought it was okay. I mean, it's very, very simplified. It doesn't do anything too outrageous, even though it had a great concept to go with it there. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was a decent film, and just a good entry into the Disney Pixar library. But like I said, if you want to check out my review of Luca, that will be down below. Decent movie, and one that adults and kids can enjoy, and that's what Disney Pixar mostly do, don't they? They aim it for a lot of audiences. Even though the kids movies, adults can always really enjoy them as well. And so that is Luca. Now we've gone from Heat, Terminator 2, Joker, all these masterpieces that I've watched this month, to this. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about this? Easily one of the worst films I have ever seen in my life. Easily. Top 5, top 10 maybe. Absolute garbage. It's a horrific pile of crap. I enjoyed Harry Hill's TV bit when it was on the TV back in the day, but whoever passed this movie should be fired. It's just, Harry Hill goes to Blackpool with his pet hamster because these people want to capture his hamster. I can't even remember why. Honestly, it's just painful. It was painful to watch. It's only 90 minutes long. It felt like 3 hours. I didn't laugh once, not once, at the whole movie. I thought it was going to be my type of humour because I like silly things and stuff. But oh my god. Do not watch this film. Whatever you do. Don't even think about it. I picked this up for £1. It was overpriced. Stay clear of the Harry Hill movie. Trust me. Even if I've got you curious as to see how bad it is, watch something that's bad, that's enjoyable at the same time. Don't watch this. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on to something better. I carried on my MCU rewatch series with Ant-Man. So me and my fiance going through the whole MCU franchise. She hasn't seen them all. I have, but only once. So I'm really enjoying these rewatches. I am reviewing them all on the channel right now. I am kind of behind. I've got my Thor Dark World review written out. I've still got to do the Winter Soldier as well, and Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. So I really hope to catch up with them on the channel soon. So Thor the Dark World review should be out soon. But Ant-Man, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. You don't think it's gonna be anything special because just the name Ant-Man, he doesn't sound like the greatest superhero, does he? But Paul Rudd is always entertaining, and I do think that was a really, really important factor of him playing Ant-Man, because this goes for the more fun side of things, more for the entertainment value, if you like. And he's quite a cool superhero in the end. I love the little tie-in it has with the Avengers. You know, you got Falcon in there, he makes an appearance. Michael Douglas is really great in this. I love the way he's just like this hard-ass character, but he comes out with some great one-liners. Like someone says to him, "How are you?" just being sarcastic because he doesn't like him, and he just says, how's your face? But yeah, I really enjoyed the scenes where he turns into, Ant-Man as a miniature. He's got to run around all these nightclubs and stuff with people nearly stomping on him, and he's jumping on this sort of vinyl, and he's spinning around and has to hang on for his life and stuff. I really enjoyed this one. It's quite high on my ranking so far, so look for a review on the channel very soon. I'll try and get all them Marvel reviews out shortly, because I do want to review every Marvel film and rank them at the end. Next up is a documentary. The only documentary I watched this month, Supersonic. The Oasis brothers, obviously. Sorry, the Gallagher brothers, mainly focusing on them, but it does go into the band as well. But these two, you know what, no wonder they don't play no more in Oasis, because they just don't get on. Some of the stuff that these two have done in the past is just mind-blowing. They're crazy, the pair of them, but geniuses at the same time. So it's a really fascinating story as how Oasis started. Really, really decent documentary, and I was playing Oasis songs for days after watching this. Quite fascinating at times, it really is. I felt dirty watching it though at times, because they're just taking so many drugs, they're constantly smoking, constantly drinking. I just thought they must be in some states there. So I do recommend this. If you like Oasis, it's definitely worth a watch. If you mildly like Oasis, you're not too fussed, still worth a watch. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent documentary, actually. Next up, we do have a franchise I've just started. Now, I have seen the first one a long time ago, but I thought it was just very, very dull, actually. And I enjoyed it a little bit more on rewatch, and that is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Now, I'm just going to move this over here so you can see the movie poster there. Curse of the Black Pearl. I liked it a bit more this time. However, I do think it's a very, very long film. It doesn't need to be. He could have cut half an hour there. But Jack Sparrow is a really, really great character. He sort of makes the movie for me. Everything you want in a pirate film is sort of there, I suppose. I mean, it's the ultimate pirate movie, isn't it? Along with Cutthroat Island. Release that on Blu-ray, please. But yeah, I thought it was decent. Now, I have watched the second one as well, but I'm not going to go too much into that, because I did watch it on July 1st, and I am filming this on July 2nd. However, I do prefer the second one, that's all I'm going to say. But I'm looking forward to watching the other three now. I've heard the last two aren't very good, but we'll see. Always make your own mind up with films. And Curse the Black Pearl, it's not bad. I really enjoyed the villain, actually. Is it Barbossa? What's his name? It might be Captain Barbossa. I'm sorry if I'm getting that mixed up, but I really enjoyed him as a villain, actually. Jack Sparrow is the main draw of this. Johnny Depp is just a fantastic actor, and this is one of his best roles. He just really gets into the character, doesn't he? But Pirates of the Caribbean, I think I give it 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Not bad. Just a little bit too long, I feel. Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours or something. Next up is really, if I was going to do a most surprising film of the month, which I'm not, this would be it. Bridge to Terabithia. And this is the guy off Journey to the Center of the Earth and the Hunger Games and stuff. I really wish it'd say his name on the back, because I've totally forgot his name. I'm really, really sorry. I probably should know. I really should know. You know, Josh Hutcherson, is it? No. I think it's Josh Hutcherson. Yeah, it might be actually. Josh Hutcherson. This was a really enjoyable movie. It's kind of a kid's film, but you can still enjoy it, and you know, at the age I am and stuff. However, something happens in this film. A spanner was thrown into the works. I didn't see it coming in a million years. I didn't. It really, really threw me off. The third act just sort of flips a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say. I do recommend this. I thought it was a really, really good movie. I think I give it 3.5 on Letterboxd. I don't want to... Basically, these two, they don't really have any friends. They're both outsiders at school. They sort of get together. They sit on the bus one day, and they sort of go back to this magical kingdom that they invent in the woods by where they live. And they just imagine things that's really happening there. But they have this bond together. They were really great on screen together. I love watching their friendship form, but it's just something that I didn't see coming in there. But it's a really, really good film. It really is. I highly recommend it. I really do. If you can see this in the wild, pick it up. It's a good movie. It really is. And next up, we have another turkey of the month. But this is a masterpiece compared to Harry Hill. And that is The Green Lantern. I've heard a lot of bad things about this one, and yeah, it wasn't great. It was a really dull superhero film, which is... I thought I was going to like it because so many people had said it's bad, and I'm going to go into it thinking it's going to be bad and I'll enjoy it a bit more, but no, it just didn't really do anything for me. Blake Lively was the best thing about this film. I haven't seen it in anything for a while. She'd really give a good performance here. But it was just terrible CGI, terrible story. I mean, they explained what this movie is about in the first 5 minutes, and I was just like, what? What? Does that even make sense? I was lost straight away, and I was listening very carefully. So it's just a movie that's all over the place, really. It is, and yeah, not great. One of the worst superhero movies I've seen, I think. So when everyone says this is a bad film, I agree with them. It just wasn't great at all. And it's The Green Lantern. So that is my picks. That is my watches of the month. I hope you all enjoyed this video, guys. What do you think of all these films that I watched, these TV shows? Is there any favourites in there? Is there any that I've got you maybe intrigued about? Bridget Terabithia, maybe? Once again, thanks so much for watching, and thank you everyone who's subscribed this month. It really does mean a lot. But yeah, I hope to watch a bit more next month, because that was kind of low for me. 21 titles there. I usually try to get to about 25 at least, something like that. But yeah, look out for next month's end of month vlog, which will be that July, of course. And hopefully there will be a few more videos coming in the next few days as well. So thanks so much everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more of these end of month vlogs, they will be down below as well. Take it all easy, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.